Hi, I'm Michael, man for BikeSocial, and welcome to the heart of the North Yorkshire Moors. We're here on a 2-day 400-mile group test, and we've got 5 middleweight sports tourers. Starting with the Yamaha Tracer 700, brand new for this year, £6,299. Alongside it is the Honda NC750X. We've got the DCT version, which comes in at £7,049. BMW's top spec F700GS Rallye, coming in at £8,275. Kawasaki's Versys 650, costing £6,849. And finally, the Suzuki V-Strom 650 at £6,999. So we spent the last 2 days riding around the North Yorkshire Moors. I reckon we've covered around 300 miles. That's including our trip, motorway miles, A roads, and the twisty little lovely roads around here too. And we've had full use of all these 5 middleweight sports tourers. We'll have a little chat about each one of them. Starting with the Yamaha Tracer, the least expensive, newest, lightest.
It's a first bike. You get the feeling it's designed for people who are kind of new to it because you've got the 900 for the slightly more experienced with its triple engine. The parallel twins are a friendlier, softer engine, and that's sort of reflected in the whole bike. It's got a slight feeling of budget about it, which is not surprising considering it's just over £6,000. I mean, the engine's a star, but to be fair, the chassis, the suspension mainly is sort of the letdown point of it.
I wouldn't say the engine's a letdown. It's funky, it's fun, it's new, it's got a versatility the MT-07 it's based on hasn't got, but is a little bit budget, a little bit built down to a price in some of the ways. The switchgear is a little bit plasticky. You can live with that because it is 6.2, it's cheap, and it is fun, it is modern, but there are downsides to it too.
Engine's another thing, isn't it, Bruce?
It's probably its best aspect. You know, it's punchy, it's powerful, it feels the fastest, that's for sure.
Jamie?
Yeah, the engine's its best asset. It felt the fastest, but not as plush as some of the others.
Just tends to decay once the pace really gets picked up.
Yeah, once you wind it up.
But for most newbie riders, that won't really be an issue.
No.
You've got to look at the price and think it's a cracking parallel twin, good looking bike, it's got everything you need, and it's just over £6,000. So
Yeah, you won't be disappointed.
no, you'd be really happy.
Speaking of price, let's go to the other end of the scale with the BMW. It's 8275 in its current spec, which is almost £2,000 more than the Yamaha. Is it worth the money?
You get a lot for that. You get extra goodies on it. You got the damping control at the rear end. You've got heated grips. You've got nice touches. It feels like a proper grown-up, non-budget, non-newbie friendly bike. It's a serious tool in this company. Yes. But it's a lot of money. You do get a BMW badge, a BMW experience. It does go well, but it's almost extreme in this company.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've got one or two of the practical aspects that don't sit too well with me. It's got a really low screen, so there's, all the others you're protected quite well. So that, from a practical side, was hard work.
What do you make of the engine, Jamie?
The engine I found good, strong, responsive. It did everything a BMW should do. Compared to when you ride the bigger ones or the smaller ones, it still has that same feel.
John, is it a kind of a starter bike like some of the others would be?
I think it's just the price. I know BMW will offer a nice PCP on it, and it's going to hold its residual value really, really well because it's a BM. It's just the pricing for £8,000. It's just too much when you look at what you can get on the other ones. I'll have more fun on the other ones and at a cheaper price. And I think if you're aiming these bikes at newer riders, it sort of prices itself slightly out. But people are coming down from a bigger BMW. If you had a R1200 that were slightly intimidated, wanted something a little bit lighter and didn't want that whole weight of the R1200, you'd love it because it's got a load of the bells and whistles that you want on a BMW and expect, but just a little bit lighter.
The Honda NC750X, Bruce, it's the only one without a clutch. What do you make of it?
You've got to want that, the automation the gearbox has got. If that appeals to you, then you're going to get a good bike.
What do you make of it, Phil?
I like it because it's different. It's a bit brave. It's sort of like a motorbike for car drivers, and I think that's what they intended it for. So that it's around town, it's like riding a scooter, albeit an upright one. For an unintimidating bike in this, with that look in this category, that really ticks the box.
John, Phil called it pleasant. Would you agree?
But little things that really annoy me, like, you put it in sport mode, you go into roundabout, and it's almost like a two-stroke because it's holding the gears up. So you drift into corners and round as fast as you expect to be. So you put the brake on, and then the brakes aren't brilliant on it. I didn't like the feel of the brake. They're kind of quite solid. And then you get off around a corner, you open the throttle, it drops down 2 gears or changes up gears. When it changes from first to second about 3,000 RPM, it's always doing stuff. It just annoyed me. It didn't float me. But there again, that under tank storage is really cool. I mean, if it fits a full face lead, it's a sensible, practical thing.
Jeremy, it's decent enough around town, don't you think? Just because it's without that clutch, you can just twist and go off the lights, nice and easy.
Yeah, it's very easy to ride. It's very almost too bland and too good with an automatic box. Yeah, but it's a bit different to these.
And moving on to the 2 slightly older models, or the more established models, the Suzuki and the Kawasaki, have you got a preference in there?
My preference, being a bit old school, is the Suzuki. It's just still such a good all-round package. The Kawasaki's still good with its low seat height, but the one for me would be the Suzuki.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I've always loved the V-Stroms. I mean, even the ugly older one. That one ain't much better, to be honest, but they're a massive underrated bike. If you just want to get on something and churn miles, it's brilliant for just churning commute miles. I mean, it's comfy, it's cheap, it's got all the stuff you want on it. It's got gear indicator as well, which the Kawasaki lacks. It's just a really good solid bike for just burning miles. It is a bit big, I think that's why Jamie likes to build it. It's quite a physically bigger bike. And, you know, full up with fuel, you've got to be a little bit careful if you're short on a leg or you're not quite strong, because it is a big bike. But it's just such a brilliant tool.
How about you, Phil? You Suzuki man?
You can't fail to like the Suzuki, but it's been around for a little while now. It does the job, and every time I get on it, I'm surprised by how well it still does the job, but it's 5 years old or something, and it's starting to show it. And if you park it, you have a good ride, park it, look back, you think it's a bit old, and what that does to residuals and stuff, I'm not sure. Kawasaki's newer, it does all the same things, it's got a few extra features, it's got great suspension.
The Kawasaki, I like bits on the Kawasaki. The fact it hasn't got a gear indicator, it's got a stupid light that comes on telling you in eco mode annoys me. I mean, I want to know what gear I'm in, I don't care what the fuel economy is doing. The fact it's got adjustable suspension is really, really good on the Kawasaki. None of the others are adjustable at the front end, which is really nice. They put that on a budget bike. I don't know, the engine for me on the Kawasaki, it's nice, but it's not as fun as the Tracer. The Tracer's parallel twin, like it, but it feels a bit more sprightly. And so, in some ways, the Kawasaki engine's a little bit on the dull side. It just feels older. But you can tell it's 3 generations in or so. It's a sorted bike.
When we tested it at the higher speed, shall we say, with a spirited riding input, it handled the road bumps better. You know, the suspension just felt more sophisticated at high speed.
So for me, I think that the Kawasaki would be my favourite, irrespective of the fact that it hasn't got a gear shift indicator and it could do as a pair of handguards as well. But all right, going down the line, let's start with you, John. Just one word, which bike would you take home?
One word, Tracer, but with money spent on suspension.
More than one word.
I can see a case for all of them, but Kawasaki.
They're all good, but it's the Versys Kawasaki.
They're all good, but BMW for me.
It's a fair spread, and I think that they've all got different target audiences. We could, I know, debate this for a long time, but you can read our full review at BikeSocial.co.uk.